There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it all go. Let it all go. And this is what you gotta say: I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggling, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No, 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 no more struggle, no more strife. With the faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Sing it out now. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No, 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 no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Well, if that's not an alarm clock, I don't know what is. That's a wake up, wake up. I used to have an alarm clock that was, it was a cowboy. And he'd say in this southern drawl, wake up, and then he'd shoot a gun. It would sound like a gun shooting, you know. And the cowboy would dance around a little bit and keep doing it until I got up and shut him off, you know. That was wonderful, wonderful. That was fantastic, Mitch, thank you. Yeah, it's a new year, you guys. It's a new year. I'm Reverend Greg Dorst, and I'm happy to be back for this new year. A new season of Unity of Pasadena, you know, as they might say on TV. So we have live streaming going on. We have people that may not have been here on live streaming before. Welcome, you guys. You are a part of this community. We'd love to have you in seats. We know that some of you come from long distances and you know, come in virtually. And we honor that. So glad you're here. And if we have new people here today at Unity of Pasadena in this very room, I want to welcome you as well. It's a great thing to start a new year off and to welcome new people and to eat with them and pray with them and just have a great, good time. I love Sundays. I love Sundays. I don't know how you feel about them. You want to tell me how you feel about it? I love Sundays. Yeah, I figured that was the case. That's great. So we're a community that is absolutely loving and caring, and we're kind to one another. We come in here to facilitate transformation. That's what we do. I mean, I think that any spiritual tradition or religious tradition that doesn't facilitate transformation is really missing the boat, is really missing a great opportunity to bring us forward and for us to become what it is our greater yet to be wants to be. And so absolutely welcome you here. We have a unity blessing, which brings us to the point where we know what we're doing here in unity. So if we could put the unity blessing up on the screen, please. Fantastic. Say with me, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are. We also have a statement of faith I'd like you to join me in. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good omnipotence, and I am one with that presence and power. All right, so that presence and power is why we're here. That presence and power operating as Unity of Pasadena, operating as each and every one of you. And we're going to go into prayer right now so that we can understand what that means to us in this moment, to center us, to bring us to that point where we are ready. We are ready. Amanda, I've entrusted you with the gong this morning for our prayer, before our prayer. Would you ring that gong for us? Thank you. Please take a deep breath with me and release it. Let's get truly centered. One more time, please. Deep breath. And release everything that it took to get here. Relax into this moment where we absolutely know that God is present right here in this very space. Right here at Unity of Pasadena. Right here in the heart of what is going on in the spiritual world for each and every one of us right now. This is the center of it for us. And for all of those who are with us virtually, this is your center too. For indeed, the universe is without center, but we know it as where we are. And so what we do is we recognize that this presence, this power often shows up as love. And so we recognize that we love one another, we love ourselves, and we love the connection that we have with this singular source, this source of all things. We call it God, Spirit, universal love, universal mind, whatever you like to call it, we call it that. And so we recognize that it shows up here at Unity of Pasadena in an amazing array of ways. We have a magnificent musician today that brings us to that point where we absolutely feel the presence of the one. Mitch, thank you so much for being here. We just honor you for doing what you do. We have prayer chaplains that hold the light for each and every one of us. And these prayer chaplains are here to facilitate our needs in prayer, and we're so thankful that they are here. We have greeters that greet us on the way in. We have PowerPoint, we have streaming, and we have sound people that do whatever's necessary to make sure that this message gets wherever it needs to go. And we have each and every one of you that share the love with one another. It's a beautiful thing being a part of this service. And so we just honor each and every person here. We honor every reason why you show up. We honor the beauty of a brand new order of service. We honor the greatness of your role in this singular thing that goes on. And so it's with all of this that I know is happening, and with the great thanksgiving that we receive through it, that I release these words into the law of mind. Together we say, and so it is. Amen. All right, so we have some things that are new today, by the way. It's a new year. So the new year brings with it what we thought to be a good time to bring in some new things like a new order of service. So did you notice the difference already? You guys know? Okay, all right. Well, you had to notice the difference. I mean, electricity, energy, a vibration of spirit just roaring through each and every one of us during that song. It's magnificent. It's fantastic. We have another congregational song that is going to bring us to that space where we know that this singular source, this energy, this vibration is not without a name. We call it love. And so would you join us, please, in a song? There's only love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love, love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind and hear Spirit gently say, there is only love, there is only love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
Well, that was beautiful. Thank you. So now we move into our daily word. And today, who's doing the daily word today? Bill? Awesome. Fantastic. And Michelle's going to be doing our meditation. So come on up, Bill.
Oh. And that's that wasn't intentional. Good morning. All right. Today's daily word is wholeness. Wholeness is my nature and the truth of my life. I see myself whole, complete, and as a living expression of God. My thoughts fill my consciousness with the divine idea of wholeness. My words affirm this wholeness. Through my actions, I bless the life energy in my body with the right balance of exercise, rest, and nutrition. I live for my wholeness. Even if I experience illness, I may receive treatment, but I do not consider myself weak or diseased. I move through every health challenge with faith and grace, trusting the experience has come to pass. I remember wherever I am, whatever may be happening, Divine life is always seeking to express through me, to restore my awareness of wholeness, which is and will always be my true spiritual state of being. Your eye is the lamp of your body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body is full of light. But if it is not healthy, your body is full of darkness. Luke chapter 11, verse 34.
Stay. Thank you for the daily word, Bill. I appreciate it. We've got something new that we're starting this new year, and I call it the 3-minute question. And what that means is not that it takes me 3 minutes to read it, but that I only get 3 minutes to answer it. And so it's kind of a think fast, Greg, and make sure that you don't, go on and on and on and on, and I intend to do that. I've been asking for questions from people for the last week or so as they hang around the church, and I think from the podium I asked people to put questions in the jar, and while you were sitting having food in our fellowship hall, I think I asked again. But some people put questions in the jar. And I'm going to have Michelle pick one of those questions for me. How about that? And then Michelle, you want to pick one of those questions? Come on. Drum roll. Okay, all right. Ooh, this looks like a long one. Now, I don't know who wrote them, and it's okay if you don't put your name on it. I really don't want to know. Because that's not the issue. The issue is what's the answer, right? Or is there one? So here it is. American philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Teach men that each generation begins the world afresh, in perfect freedom, that the present is not the prisoner of the past." How do you interpret this quote? The highest revelation is that God is in every man. Interesting preface. Now, I'm going to talk about that preference for just a second here because I think you've probably heard. Thank you. I know she's trying to save my life. She's a first responder. Thank you. So you probably heard this phrase, principle is not bound by precedent, meaning what we've done before is not what we may see in everything in the future. We're not doomed to live the past over and over and over and over again, because principle, really, that which God is infinite in nature and is filled with new experiences in every moment. We are not bound by the past. We have freedom to create our own lives anew every moment. And I think that's what this is talking about in this is a new year, this is a new generation, this is a new time. And so remember that. Principle is not bound by precedent, what's happened in the past. The highest revelation is that God is in every man. Well, I'll take it. I'm going to be talking about that same sort of idea throughout this service because, as you know, we're going back to basics. We're going back to some of the things that we hold dear in unity, and that is that, God is not just in every man, but God is as every man. And when I say man, I talk about man and woman. So you're living the life of God right now. You are giving God a great good time. And God is experiencing through you as you. People believe that things happen to them. Oh, this happened to me, that happened to me. Well, what's really happening in this life is that things are happening through you. We are a vessel for this singular source, this power, this amazing bright light of energy and vibration. We're a vessel for that. We just let it flow. We just allow it to be. Because if we don't allow it to be, we get stuck in the past. So I think this is a great question because what it does is bring forward both of those aspects of what it is I wanted to talk about today. That this fresh new year is in fact new, if you want it to be. And you are that. You are the movement, the energy, the vibration of the singular source that is God. And so enjoy. How many minutes did I go, Jackie?
2 minutes, 24 seconds.
Whoa! Woo-hoo. Michelle, would you help us with our meditation? Oh, don't forget to put some more in the jar.
It'll be back there on the table.
Well, I love the title of the Truth Talk today. God is I am. And I have a poem by Rumi that I want to read. And the interesting thing about this topic is when I first started acting, which was when I was 14, so it's just a couple of weeks ago, kind of long weeks, I was terrified. And I would go backstage, and I'd wait in the wings, and I would say, please, God, please, I need a sinkhole right now, because otherwise I'm going to have to go out there. And I did go out there. Luckily, I didn't fall in a sinkhole. And I dedicated my artistic life to reading or watching or going to a class or doing a show every single day of my life. And so, that's like 62 years, okay? But the only time it really got easy was when I started knowing God was my oneness with God. And then all of a sudden I went, hey, I don't have to be afraid. All I have to do is channel God. All I have to do is channel my feelings and my heart. And if even one person is touched, I have done my job. And I used to think, I did a short play recently here and also in a different location. And so many people walked up to me and said, you're so brave. And I thought, I'm not brave. I've always been afraid. And then all of a sudden I went, oh, knowing God means that I am brave because I trust and I have my faith. And this is a short poem from Rumi. Sometimes I do. In your light, I learn how to love. In your beauty, how to make poems. You dance inside my chest where no one sees you. But sometimes I do, and that light becomes this art. And I invite you in this meditation to think of something that you want because you know that God is and I am. Think of what you want, what you truly are. And we'll take 2 minutes. And now as we gently come back into the room, imagine that you are sitting on a cliff and you see the water and the waves are coming in slowly and they're gently touching the beach. And you see a bottle and you open it up and there's this prayer inside. And let's say the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. And just know as you go into this day and you go into this new year, 2024, God is. You are truly a child of God. You are an expression of God. You are a channel of God. God is, and say to yourself, I am. And we know that that is true. And you can share that blessing out into the world where it will multiply because we know that love is the answer. And so it is. Amen.
Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me. As me, where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me. As me, for where I doubt, God is a faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer, here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak, truth is. Where I work, love is my career. Where I play, God is playing boldly, in and out and through me. As me, God is, God is, God is.
Well, I love that song. That's one of those truths that is inexorable. I mean, it is just, it's the foundation for what it is we do in unity and what it is we believe in unity. The idea that God is right here where I am is something that, we haven't really gotten as a world. We build these huge churches on top of hills, and, we think that that's where you find God. We take pilgrimages to certain countries to talk to that guru that's in a cave, and we think that's where we're going to find God. Our search for God is endless. We do it through not only groups and experiences and treks around the world, but we do it in times of despair. We say, where is God in this moment? Is there really a God? And the truth is, the God is in here, see? I mean, inside of us. This life force is often the euphemism for God. This thing called life is God itself, and it's operating through, around, and in, and as everything. And that's a fundamental, and that's a beautiful song that describes that fundamental, Mitch. I appreciate that. So even the Lord's Prayer, when looked at from a metaphysical standpoint, is describing that as well, you see, because Jesus said, it's the Father within that doeth the work, and our Father who art in heaven, which is within. I mean, it's talking about that which is a truth, a universal truth, that this source is within us, that this heaven, the potentiality of exactly what we want at exactly the right time is within us as us. And so when we look at this metaphysically, we say, that doesn't speak to far out old time religion. What it does is speak to me of certain truths that I know and love and really appreciate. So, I decided to call this month's services the fundamentals. And so if we're going to be talking about the fundamentals, which I think January is a good time to talk about the fundamentals because it reminds us of, the foundation upon which we stand. It reminds us about where we are when we view in consciousness, when we view the rest of the year's truth talks, when we view the rest of the year's happenings, when we try to understand what's really going on in this thing called life. I mean, that's a tough thing to understand. It really is. And when you inject God into this thing called life, which we have done since, man, appeared on this earth, because we're trying to figure out what's really going on, what this whole universe is all about. We do it in really weird and interesting ways. This idea of God evolves over time, and unity recognizes and understands that. Unity also recognizes and understands that this thing called God is different in different parts of the world. It is different when you're a child than when you're a teenager, than when you're an adult, than when you've had suffering and pain throughout your life, when you've recovered from that, when you're trying to move forward and you feel there are obstacles in your way. I mean, this thing called God changes. It evolves. It transcends its old meaning, or it should. I mean, that's why we're here, for this to transcend its old meaning. And let me give you a little story on that. I'm sitting with a person who was having a very, very difficult time with their life. And that person, a firm believer in God, expressed being angry I am so angry at God for this happening. I'm so angry that God allowed this to happen. And even one step further, I'm so angry that God caused this to happen. And so we sit in this moment together, and I offer an opening, which is, are you open to a new concept of God? Are you open to a concept that God does not direct all of those things, punish you, cause your suffering, want you to suffer, or intervene in your life at that level? Is there something inside of you that can accept the idea that when we have freedom of choice, that means exactly that? And what's happening in this world is that we are just experiencing each and every moment as life through us. No judgment. No God out there saying, it's time for you to suffer. There's no God pushing that button saying, we're going to make you Job for a day. That's not happening. That's not happening. You can feel that way if you want, and that's the beauty of having the freedom of choice. You can feel that way. You can feel like you're being persecuted. You can feel like a victim. Maybe it feels good after you do it long enough, but we don't want to sit in that for long. When we come into this space here in Unity, we take a look at some brand new ways of being. We take a look at God, how God looks to us if God is all there is, and how we operate, individually under that circumstance. So I named today's talk, God is I Am, because I think that is one of the most important fundamentals of this Unity teaching. And it begins with 5 principles that are set forth in the Unity teaching. And we're going to be talking about those 2 today. The 5 principles, are there people here that are familiar with the 5 principles that Unity espouses? Yeah. If you just typed in, because Google can be your friend, if you just typed in Unity's 5 principles and hit enter, you'd get a series of people's understanding of the 5 principles. And what I mean by that is that people's understanding aren't all the same. If you type in Unity's 5 principles, you will be directed to truthunity.net, which is a great resource. It's a great site for information about Unity. You'll be directed to unity.org, which is actually our organization, and you'd be directed to a whole host of Unity churches that have put their own spin on these principles. You might even be directed to Unity Worldwide Ministries, and I'm a graduate of the, if you want to call it seminar, of Unity Worldwide Ministries. And one of the classes that I took was for us to develop our own 5 principles. These are not set in stone. The ideas are there for our own use. And so how do I internalize them best? I write that down. How do I allow them to do their work within me? I experiment with them. But there are some that seem to be universally accepted. So I'm going to talk about the first 2 principles today, and I'm going to start by reading them. And this is right out of unity.org. So the first principle is God is. That's funny, isn't it? That's sort of my title today. God is, the first part of it, yeah. God is, God is absolute good, everywhere present. That's not just here, it's everywhere present. Not just outside of this space, but the entire space, not just in the things we can see, but in the things that we can't see. Not in just the things that are today, but the things that were and will be. That's everywhere present. This is a principle. God is a principle when you say it is everywhere present. And you noticed I used the word it, and that's not being condescending. God is neither man nor woman. God isn't it. Is life a man or a woman? No. Is love a man or a woman? No, it's not. God as principle is something, let's say, in the realm of mathematics. Let's use that as an example. So God is never too busy, because God is just operating moment by moment by moment by moment. In fact, time is not even real. So God's operating outside of time. So mathematics operates in the same way. Mathematics is never too busy. You know, I mean, let's say if Helen and Victor are working on a math problem, you don't have to wait until they're finished so you can use mathematics because it's in use, you know, like a library book. Oh no, it's been checked out. I'm sorry. But you can't use math. You're not going to get a response to that question because mathematics is already in use, you see. No, you don't have to wait in line for that. It's a principle. It exists everywhere and nowhere. The entire principle of mathematics exists right here in this very space. In fact, it exists between my fingers, and I'm squeezing as hard as I can to get any distance out of them. The entire principle is there. All of it. All of mathematics is there. I'm able to access it anywhere I am. God is the same way, you see. God is the same way as principle, accessible anywhere and everywhere. Life is accessible anywhere and everywhere. Love is accessible anywhere and everywhere. So that first principle is expanded in interesting ways by Unity Ministries. And the way it's expanded is by adding the I am. By adding the I am, because we know God as it relates to us. That's how we know God. So, you know, I'm gonna talk about God first, and then I'm gonna talk about how that whole idea of God relates to us specifically in a moment. But do you have words that you like for God? Do you have words that you like? I mean, some people are turned off by the word God because it brings them back to this space where they're in a church and there's a maybe a series of pictures or a cross or, God as a man with a big old white beard, either bringing life to things or people or taking it. You know, because God as that all-powerful person that's a little bigger than me, you know, that stands up here probably behind me, if you can see that clearly. Is what people have brought forth. It's called an anthropomorphic God. I mean, we don't have any other way to picture it except as it looks like us. See, so we've done that over time. But that is an old constriction, an old structure. It's an old image. It's an old thought process. And we don't bring it forth into unity when we talk about God as all that is, when we talk about God as principle. Because there's no need. You see, because God's not small. Life is not small. God is not, the universe is not small. I mean, you may like those words better than the word God. I like some words better than the word God. I use the word God a lot, but I use spirit. Do you like the word spirit? What other words do you use? Just shout it out. Shout it out. Divine spirit. Infinite. The infinite. The infinite. Source. Creative energy, universal mind, where all intelligence is, the wisdom of all that is and all that ever will be is contained within that. And my job is to align myself as best I can with that. You know, what a task. You know, I have failed at that from time to time. I've thought I've failed, you know, from time to time. And the only way I've ever failed is by thinking that I can't do it. That's the only way I have ever failed. You see, this God that is a universal source, that is goodness, by the way, that's used a lot in unity, that God is good. In fact, that's one of the things that was first stated in the Statement of Faith by Charles Fillmore. There are 30 paragraphs in Charles Fillmore's Statement of Faith, and some of them relate to the first and the second principles that we're talking about today. But the first one definitely does. The first statement of faith that was written by Charles Fillmore relates to this issue. And it goes like this. We believe in God, the one and only omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent spirit mind. We believe that divine intelligence is present in every atom of everything. That's a really interesting statement of faith. I mean, this is the allness of God trying to be described in limited language. It's hard. It's hard to describe what we really, really want to express that God is. That's why we have so many words for it. I mean, what word best describes it for you? I don't know. But use it. You know, using constricting words are not going to help you. Using those words that make God small are not going to help you. Using words that open it up, open that concept up for you, do. You know, when you're in meditation, have you ever noticed that if you want your experience to be small, you can limit it to a very, very small space. So you can picture yourself being in a small space. But you can also open it up for yourself. You can open your mind to the allness of life. You can picture in your mind something in the realm of what you might have seen on a video even. I mean, we have that ability nowadays. They didn't before, you know, we had scientific experiments that took us out into outer space. But I can stand here right now, close my eyes, and draw myself right out of this space, up into the air, up beyond the atmosphere, into the ethosphere, and see this earth because we have pictures of it. You could do that too. You can find yourself out in the middle of the allness, out in the middle of all that is, which we call God, spirit, creative energy, resource, whatever it is you want to call it. You can draw yourself right out into that and have the widest possible experience of God. It's so nice to be able to do that. I mean, this is the kind of God I'm talking about, the kind of God that's big, the kind of God that is always there, in, around, and through you as you. The kind of God that gives you energy and life. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you know, you kind of got to figure that is absolutely the truth, even though it doesn't have to be the truth for us to understand what it is that's in front of us. But you got to kind of figure that that's really the truth. I mean, I do recognize that that's the truth. After all, you know, there had to have been something before this appeared. There had to have been. It had to have come from something. I just use the word God or spirit or creative energy or resource or divine mind to describe that something. But whatever it is, it made all that is out of itself. It did. Whatever it is. I don't care whether you believe in God or not. Whatever it is, it made all that is out of itself. And there truly is only one thing operating as all of this. You know, I use that statement once in a while, and I have you join me with it. And why don't we do that right now? There's only one thing. It may look like more than one thing. It may feel like more than one thing. But it's only one thing. Expressing as you, expressing as me, and everything we see. All right, that's a statement of oneness there. That's how we, if we are practicing unity principles in our prayer and meditation and in our life every single day, wish to feel this power and resource as us. As us. And that brings me to the second principle. And the second principle is, I am. Human beings have a spark of divinity within them, the Christ Spirit within. Their very essence is of God, and therefore they are also inherently good, because God is inherently good. Now, we've used that word inherently good because, you know, we're trying back in, 130 years ago to make some distinction between typical Christianity, which has a dualistic understanding of the power that is everything, meaning there's God and then there's the devil. There's something other than just God. And so, the definition that God is good kind of puts that whole marker on this power as not being the one that's bad. I don't think we need that anymore. I don't think we need that anymore. I think God is really incredibly sufficient. But when you add it to the I am, we get a different sense if we see that this thing that is all power and all love and all that is forever and will be. We like to think of ourselves as good, so we call ourselves inherently good as well. And I think we are. I mean, we get to choose that, by the way. We get to choose whether or not we want to do things that are for us or to us or for you or to you. Or if I want to operate in a way that disrupts or destroys, I can do that. I can do that. You know, there's something in the Jewish vernacular that I really, really appreciate. There isn't something called sin necessarily in Judaism. They call it a disturbance in the shalom, which is the peace of life, you know, the serenity of life. If you are actively disturbing the shalom or the peace of life, then you're engaging in sinful behavior. I mean, that's the rudimentary aspect of sin. And the way you get yourself through that sinful period is you stop doing it. You just stop doing it. You stop disrupting the shalom. I mean, you stop getting in everybody's way and everybody's life. You stop making decisions that hurt people and step into a life that helps. I mean, that's the example that Jesus brought to us, that this is the way through the disturbance in the shalom. Jesus was a Jew, by the way. Jesus was a Jew. And not that it really matters. It doesn't really matter. I mean, and you know what? It doesn't matter whether I'm a Christian, whether I'm a Muslim, whether I'm a Jew, whether I'm a Buddhist, whether I'm a Hindu. It doesn't really matter at all. If you go in my office, you'll think I'm all of those. You know, you look around my neck and you see something that you'd see, you know, in a Hindu temple or that Buddhists might wear, you know, the tree of life. You go in the office, you'll see Buddha, laughing Buddha, love it. You know, you'll see aspects of Hinduism. There's Shiva on my shelf. I mean, all of these things that depict this idea of God. You know, they're all the same thing. They're all the same thing. But people have different understandings of them, you know, and they have different religious traditions and dogma that bring them to life, you know. And I don't worry about what they're doing. I don't worry about what they're thinking. I'm just knowing my own truth. And my own truth in this aspect is that I am one with that, whatever it is. That's it. I'm one with that, whatever it is. I am that. I mean, if God is everything, if God is all, that's me too. God created all that we see. God creates everything that we'll ever see. That's me too. That's my kids. It's my family. That's my friends. That's my loved ones. You know, and Jesus came to tell us that each and every one of us, even as human beings, even though we may not feel it, has this divine dimension within us. We have this divine dimension that's able to be chosen anytime we so desire. We can feel and know that we are God. Today, we don't just have to rely on all of the statements of faith that were utilized back in the old days that Charles Fillmore wrote, because he said, however you understand them, make them for yourself. I'll change mine. Go ahead and change yours, you know? So we have people within the organization now that say, you know what this second principle really means? What the second principle really means is I am God. And a lot of people aren't willing to step into that because it sounds like I'm naming myself as the one that has all power, rather than I am that which God is, an aspect, an experience of. I am that which God is as I live and move and breathe and enjoy this thing called life. I'm not all of life, but I am that. I am life. I'm love. I'm not all of love, but I am that. I am that. You know, I am that which God is. And in a sense, I am God. And I'll tell you what, when I want to heal, I have to know that I am perfect, whole, and complete. I have to know beyond all doubt that I am that which God is, and I am perfect, whole, and complete. Myrtle Fillmore used this phrase, I am a child of God, and I do not inherit sickness. That was her way of saying that I am perfect, whole, and complete. That there is no doubt that I am that, and that does not have tuberculosis. She believed it to her core and had a healing that became instrumental in the development of unity, of this thing that we call unity. Because she was able to say, I understand at a deeper level what this allness of God is about, and I'm it. I am it. If God is healing, I am healed. If God is power, I am powerful. And then she said things like, but you know, this thing called God is not just power, but it's all power. It's all power. You know, this thing called God is not just love, but it's all love. Because if we are all it, then that's what we are too. So this is really very, very simple. You know, I mean, it's simple to talk about, but is it simple to internalize, understand, and live? That's the harder part. Because we're so used to other things. We're so used to speaking of God out there, rather than recognizing and knowing that God is experiencing through us right here, you see? Because if I want a healing, I have to change my mind about me. I don't have to change God's mind about me. I have to change my mind about me. Do you guys get that? You get that? See, prayer changes the mind of the person praying about the situation. When you sit and you pray with me, we're going to be talking about what it is you want to see and how it is that life's unfolding for you. We're going to talk about that, and you're going to see yourself in it, and you're going to believe that that is you and can be you and is you now, and it starts to foment itself. It starts to move itself through everything that it needs to move through. It's a beautiful thing. So healing is absolutely a part of Unity's tradition and is available to us because we believe these two principles. Because if you don't, well, then you're looking for your doctor to heal you, or you're looking for a pill to heal you. And that's okay too. They can certainly help. They bring about a lot of help in a lot of different ways, but we recognize and know that our mind has to be right. Otherwise, we'll actually relapse into that same condition that we had after that pill has worked for a while. We don't want that either. You guys know what I'm talking about. So I have this chant that I want you to join me in because it really does say what it is that I want to convey about these first two principles, these fundamentals of the Unity teaching. You can follow me when you're comfortable. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. A little louder. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Shout it out. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Softly. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And so it is. Amen. All the fundamentals. I'll tell you how we deal with that. Because what we do is we just, we rub that in like a liniment that heals us. Would you ding that bell again? Would you ding that gong again, Amanda? Ding that gong again. Yes, here we go. Oh, there it is. Boom. Internalized, felt, known within us as us. Yeah, that's how simple it is for our minds to connect with. Yes, indeed. And we connect with another principle too. Come on forward, please, Trish. Trish is ushing today. She's a master usherist. Thank you for being so practiced in this art. You are wonderful. Hey, we've been having a good time today, you guys, and we talked about serious stuff too. And we've also had partners in this that you couldn't see. If you looked around the room, you'd see people, but they are on the screen and they've been watching and listening, and there are others that will come during the week as well. Colleen, we're so happy you're here. She tunes in from Illinois. And we love that. We absolutely love it. So great, Colleen. Fantastic. We got Charlene. She's tuning in from Tennessee. Yay! Tennessee in the house. Yeah. We got Shirley Powell. I don't know where you're coming from, Shirley. Oh, Monrovia. Oh, she comes from Monrovia. Is it cold there? It sounds like a place where you get a Sherpa and you climb a mountain. That's a Monrovia. Yes, indeed. Anita Arakawa, we're so happy to have you here. We hold you in our hearts. We hold you in prayer as you heal through the operation that you have just had and the things that you've just received. We're so happy to have you here. And we have Charles DeTurk, who, if he's not here right now, will be here. He shows up whenever he wants to. He's in Michigan, and he has that right, to show up whenever he wants to. Yeah. So we've reached that stage where we are in our community giving. And here we are. And so what we do is we support the things that really are meaningful in our lives. We support a consciousness of healing and loving and caring. We support a consciousness that supports life. And we find that here in Unity of Pasadena. And here's what else we do. What we do is we support the rest of the community to know this as well. And we do things. We perform good acts throughout this community which show our kindness, which show our giving spirit, which show the divine dimension in us as a group. It's a wonderful thing. So this is absolutely worth supporting. And the way we do it is we do our community giving, and we say together, God is the source of my overflowing supply, and I am grateful. And so it is. Oh, that's fantastic. Beautiful. Thank you, Mitch. That was just, stirring. I loved it. Come on forward, Trish. All right, we're going to bless these tithes and treasures, and what we're going to do is we're going to promise to use them with integrity. We promise to use them for the benefit of Unity of Pasadena and the surrounding community. We do this in love. We do this in kindness and faith, and the goodness of God flows through us as we do. So I release these words knowing that they're done. Together we say, and so it is. Amen. All right, so we have moved community to this space, and so we're going to spend just a couple of minutes talking about, by the way, I want you to notice this. When we talk about our mission and our vision and our values, you've seen this in action already. I just want to let you know you have seen this in action today.
And you've also felt this in action. And somewhere under all of this are my notes. Yes, here we go. Let's take a moment and affirm our vision, mission, and core values together, beginning with the mission. Envisioning a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our mission, transforming lives by living and sharing our inner truth of divine wisdom, compassion, and love using practical spiritual principles. And our core values, which are creating community, living love, teaching truth, and serving spirit. And as a happy conclusion to all of this, we do have our weekly hospitality time right after service, and thank you, Team A, B, and C, for handling our hospitality today. And then next week is the second Sunday of the month, and that's when Team D through J will be leading with the providing of food, the setting up, the serving, and of course, the cleanup too. And today has one more special thing after hospitality, and that is tea time with your prayer chaplains, and Paul will be leading today. Paul? Thank you. Okay, and since part of the change in the community is we're calling it our community, and the what's happening part, we want to bring your attention to the fact that every single month we get a new bulletin, and our admin, Gay, does a very good job of listing the activities for the current month with a pretty full description, and also usually the month following. And for classes and events, there are detailed flyers that are in the fellowship hall, and we're preparing a quarterly activity sheet that will be updated regularly. So if you like lists rather than bulletins, you can have it that way too. And always there'll be, if not Charmaine herself, there'll be someone who has been delegated to assist you in answering questions about classes and doing sign-ups during hospitality time. And Gay wanted to let you know that our website is another great source for all of the activities going on at Unity, even, some history, and so forth. So please check out unityofpasadena.org if you have that ability. And she suggests going to the tab that says What's Happening, because there again, you'll find another full description as well as a link to actually register for events that ask for a link, okay? And so now I'm going to turn it over to Reverend Greg again to close this wonderful service.
All right, so if you want prayer, by the way, we have magnificent prayer chaplains. You've seen them in the service up here dancing at the beginning of service, and they hold the light and are great clappers during songs and singers and the whole business, but that's because they're really enjoying the energy of life. And if you'd like to feel that way too, and you'd like prayer in order to have that happen for you, just stay seated after the service, and a prayer chaplain will come to you and offer you prayer. So who's going to be doing that tonight? Which prayer chaplains are going to be doing today? It's Luann. Luann, who else? And Michelle, fantastic. So, and Paul too. Paul in the back, you bet. So right now, we're going to do our statement of faith and then sing the peace song today. Is that right, Mitch? All right, well, right on. I can't believe I got something right. I've done everything right. See? All right, so please stand for the silent unity prayer for protection. Join me. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine, and all is well.
Peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. As creator, let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joy.